Hey, how's it going? Hey, thanks for dropping by. Well, we're down here in the shop, but just for a second, because all I want to do is remind you of this project here, which I did just shy of what, a million years ago, I would say. Anyway, it's a shop dust filter that I created out of one of those range hood fans, the thing that sits above your stove and sucks the hot air out. Well, inside that thing there was this squirrel fan. You can just see it peeking out there. And it moves a lot of air. It's pretty good. And I just converted that into a filter that, circulates the air in the shop and keeps it clean. Well, I put that up back then, haven't turned it off since. And you'll notice it ain't running right now. And the reason for that is, if you haven't seen the video, is because of this little parasite here. This is a particle counter, and yep, no surprise, it counts particles that are in the air, and when that number gets too high, or that ratio gets too high, what happens is it will kick on the fan. I've got a couple of filters, one on the bottom, some more on the top. That'll start to clean the air, and that number will come down, and eventually the fan will kick off. So it's completely automated. I don't have to think about it. All I have to do is clean the filters every once in a while, and the thing just runs and runs and runs. I mean, it's been on for years and hasn't choked on me yet. Fingers crossed. That is a garbage-looking control panel. But again, I don't touch it, so who cares? Well, obviously it isn't perfect, but it does keep the air pretty clean, and we'll just aggravate the situation here so we can make this thing go. Do a little bit of that, a little bit of cleaning, a little dusting, and then have a look at our sensor. I think that's actually a percentage, so we're looking at 5% particulate matter in the air. So we're just gonna wait for a second and see what happens. Up to 10.6. And there it goes. No, it's gonna just stay on until the level reduces to an acceptable level, I guess, for a particular period of time. But what happens if you don't have a squirrel cage fan kicking around in your junk drawer? This one came from a crapped out dehumidifier. That's a good source of them. Or maybe you just don't want something that looks like a piece of garbage scabbed onto the ceiling of your shop. Hey, I'm not here to judge. Whatever the case may be, you'll be happy to find out that these little filtration units are available commercially. However, they are not going to be as smart as this ugly bastard here. You are the one who is going to have to decide when to turn the filter on and off. And I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at counting how many particles per liter are in the air. But don't worry, before you get your gitch in a knot, I think I may have a solution to this. Well, if I know kids, and I don't, they're all gonna want one of these for Christmas, which is a little bit tragic because this is the only one in existence. Sorry, kids. Better luck next year. This, my friends, and we'll just give it some power here, is DustBot 2.0. This handsome fella here is more than happy to relieve you of the burden of deciding when to turn on and when to turn off your commercial air filter. The concept for this is basically the same as the beast in the basement, except this thing you can hook up to whatever the hell you want. DustBot can subtly let you know when your friends or family are full of particulate matter by turning on a light. Dusty kitchen? DustBot can turn on the blender. Or maybe you just need somebody to take care of your kids while you're out for a night on the town. DustBot's got you covered there too. Let's see if ChatGPT can do any of that shit, eh? Principle here is pretty simple. Electricity goes in one end, comes out the other, but only if DustBot deems it appropriate. So let's have a little peek inside and see what makes this bad boy tick. If you've got small children, you might want to send them out of the room because it's gonna get ugly. Well, maybe it's not terrible, but it's a bit of a mess in here. You'll recognize some of the components, I am sure. The mastermind of the operation in this case is a Pro Mini. I got a 16 megahertz ones, really fast. It's a 5-volt version, and I chose that because, you can pick up these AC to 5-volt converters, for phone chargers and stuff. They're pretty cheap and easy to scavenge. So I just got one of those, and that's what regulates the power to the Pro Mini. And then there's just a bunch of leads off of that for controlling various things on this device. So the primary function here is to read data from the dust sensor and then control the relay appropriately. The rest of it is just window dressing. We've got some fun little LEDs up here and OLED display. I love these things. They look so nice. And some buttons for controlling various functions, which we'll get into in a second. Other than that, there isn't much going on in here. Just a lot of messy wires. When you first give it some power, it does a little light show because, you know, LEDs. And it displays a completely superfluous welcome screen. I don't know why I put that there. It's fun. Dismiss that with that, and what's happening now is it's sampling from the sensor. We'll do that for 30 seconds and get some sort of reading. Just something you should know, it's in the data sheet, but these should actually be like this when they're sampling. I think it has to do with the way this is set up. There's a little heater at the bottom here, and that moves air across a lens, and there's a little laser detector thing in there that's counting how long particles are in front of the laser, and that's where it gets its count from. So if it's laying flat, you don't get that convective flow, so it's got to be upright like that for it to work properly. Just letting you know. Anyway, so after the first 30 seconds, it starts resampling again, and it'll update this every 30 seconds. The percentage of time that crap was in front of that lens is displayed down here. And if it gets to half of what the threshold level is, in this case it's 4, it will put the yellow light on, and then if it goes above that for an extended period of time, then the red light will come on and the relay will trigger. So that's basically what's going on here. So this automatic mode is the default mode. It's going to resort to that whenever there isn't something else going on, and we can change what goes on with the menu here. It's just you know, up and down menu. And so first one is fan on. That actually just turns the filter on and keeps it that way until you decide to turn it off. Blinking green light indicates that that's the mode it's in. And we hold for long press to cancel it. Then what else can we do? Fan off, as you would imagine. Turns the fan off, blinks the red light to tell you the fan is disabled. Set timer. Well, here we can set a timer for how long we want the fan to run for. So let's say you want it to run for 1 hour and 10 minutes. You press that, starts a timer, shows you a countdown, blinks red and green alternately to tell you that it's in timer mode. I've thought of everything, believe me. Okay, so we'll cancel that. And the last thing on the menu is, oh yeah, threshold. So this allows you to set like, what point is it going to trigger the relay? So the default is 4. That was the default on the data sheet. Was it? No, I'm not really sure. Anyway, 4 I found was from my last project, and that seemed to work pretty good. Whether or not that's the default, I don't remember. But anyway, you can adjust this up or down to have it trigger earlier or later or whatever. I think it goes up, I said it could go up to 90. So if you're choking on dust particles at 90, you might want to turn the fan on. All right, so there we have it. Not very complicated, amazingly effective, and you get a little thrill every time your dust filter comes on automatically after you start working around the shop a little bit. It's quite fun, so I would highly recommend making one of these. Of course I would. Otherwise, why would I be here talking to you, right? Look, the internet is fucking stupid. Okay, so I will put the software for this on GitHub, and you know, you can figure the rest of this stuff out. You can make it as fancy as you want. Put some more LEDs up there. Go for it. And I should probably say something about this dust sensor here. This is a DSM501A, and they used to be the only game in town, as far as I could tell. But now there's a new kid on the block. It's got a big long product number. So I don't know what it is, but I'll put a link in the description. These can be had for about $4, I guess, on AliExpress. I'm not talking DigiKey prices here. These are AliExpress prices. The other ones are about $5. They probably work almost identically, but the other one looks a little cooler. Maybe it's a bit smaller just by looking at it. But yeah, either one is going to work for you. So that should get you started. So I think that about wraps it up. Thanks for tuning in. And, you know, as they say in the Bible, have ye a merry feckin' Christmas if I don't see you before then. Cheers.